Welcome to the Rural Revival Podcast. I'm your host, Dana Larson. Today we're with Marcy Bergman of Fueled by Faith Coffee and Marcy Bergman Photography in Sumner, Iowa. Marcy is sharing about her coffee shop and photography business, which are both side hustles for her, plus her role in helping revive Sumner along with two of her incredible friends, and how their small wins started building a lot of momentum for revival in the community. I'm so excited for you to hear this. Here we go with Marcy Bergman. All right, well, we're here today with Marcy Bergman of Fueled by Faith Coffee and Marcy Bergman Photography in Sumner, Iowa. Marcy, thanks for being on the podcast.
Thanks for venturing this way today. Welcome to Sumner.
Thank you. It's great to be back.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about you. Did you grow up here?
I actually grew up in Fredericksburg, Iowa, which is like 6 miles away. And then when I got married, we moved to Sumner, where we've been for 32 years now.
So you're pretty familiar with the area.
Right, yes.
And your husband's a farmer.
Yep, we own 100 acres and we farm just north of town with our two sons, Dylan and Ty.
I love it.
Yeah.
So you have a day job and a couple of side hustles. So let's start with the day job and kind of set the picture. Tell us about what you do.
So I'm going on my 31st year, and I work locally in town here in Sumner at a bank called Northeast Security Bank. And I'm an executive there and on the management team and do some compliance and loan audit things. So yeah, that's my day job.
Awesome. And then at some point you decided to start doing photography on the side.
That's correct. I had always done photography to take pictures of my children in sporting events so I could scrapbook those. And I would take pictures of all of the kids and just hand them out to people at the basketball or football or track or softball games and just give them to the parents. And then when my daughter was a senior, somebody asked if I could take senior pictures, and I was like, well, I don't know how to do that, but we'll figure it out. And that was in 2010 was my first paid gig, and just worked really hard ever since then to teach myself photography and Photoshop and editing and marketing and all the things that go along with that to what it is today. So now I specialize in family photography, and smaller kids with their families are probably my favorite thing. And outdoors towards sunset is kind of my sweet spot.
I'm with you on the sunsets.
Yeah.
And then at what point did the idea for the coffee business come in?
The coffee business kind of like God gave me the name of Fueled by Faith long before I knew really what that was all going to entail. And I remember a couple of years after I came up with that name, a friend of mine, we just kind of like, oh, we're going to open a coffee shop someday. And there was a building downtown, and I went and made an offer on it. And after that, I thought, oh my gosh, what did I just do? And thankfully at that time, the offer was not accepted because I was in no position, I had no experience with coffee or anything like that. So then kind of just kept that in the back of my mind. And then I think in 2019, I attended Camp Climb in Iowa, and that produced a lot of contacts for me. And before I went to Camp Climb, I had hired a graphic designer and a brander to brand this business for the coffee shop. That it was just a fictitious business at that time, but I was like, well, we're going to do this, so at some point I'm going to need that done. So I had her brand that, and during that time I had found a mobile coffee trailer. Because of my other jobs and my side hustle, I thought, well, when am I going to have time to do this? So
Right.
A coffee trailer sounded a little bit easier. So I found basically an existing business from Alabama and paid them to drive it up. And they brought it to my house like in October of 2019. And he gave me literally a 5-minute tour of like, here's how you run everything, and off he went. So right before he came, I had also signed up for a 3-day school educational event in Arlington, Texas, called Texas, I think it was Coffee School of Texas, I believe it was. But that was the most intense training that I've ever had in 3 days. And it was probably a good thing that I already had the trailer just about there, because I probably would have backed out and thought, that's all right. We'll try. We'll think about it some more. So that schooling was a big help. And then I already had the trailer, and then, of course, COVID hit. So in about May, we had our first pop-up, which was very terrifying. Myself and one other person ran that summer, and we popped up about 6 times, and I just felt like really silly every time that we opened it. I think I just vulnerable, like, does everybody think this is a dumb idea, or are they laughing, or do they think it's a good idea, But people kept coming, and I thought, oh, okay. And then our community in 2020, I think, that same year, we had a bunch of empty storefronts on Main Street in Sumner, and myself and my friend Holly and Ashley kind of got together, and we designed this What Could Be tour, and it was a really exciting event, and we had a great turnout and support from the community. And so there were 5 available storefronts on Main Street that were available for sale, and there was this little one that was just a tad bigger than my coffee trailer, and it had running water and a bathroom, and I thought, oh, how much easier is that going to be?
Yeah.
So then I bought the building and opened up in my storefront in May of last year. We were here almost, it'll be 2 years in May.
Okay.
I believe. Yeah, 2 years in May. So we're open 1 day a week on every Saturday morning from 8 a.m. till noon, and it's a walk-up only because there's not a lot of space here. But we were able to purchase some land kind of just adjoining the building and behind the building, and we developed a really nice patio space, and hopefully people will start to congregate and have a little more community events back there in the future.
Yeah, I love it. So take us back to that trailer, because what I loved about what you did there was you kind of tested the market to see, like, would my town support a coffee shop?
Right, yeah. It was a great, without having an investment in a property or a year-long lease or anything like that. And that trailer that I purchased came fully equipped with everything that I needed. It was kind of a turnkey. And even though I had like 5 minutes of like, hey, here's how you do it, there was still a steep learning curve with the health codes and all of that. But it was a great, let's just dip our toe and see, if it doesn't work out, it's okay, but at least we're going to give her the old college try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you weren't even open. You did it on Saturdays, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you weren't even open every Saturday because you had photography stuff going on some of those Saturdays.
We had photography stuff, and sometimes I work at the bank on Saturday mornings. And then it was all dependent upon the weather. So it would be like a Thursday, like, hey, the weather looks pretty good. So I just put a quick Facebook post out. We're going to be open. Here's where we're going to be. And people just kept coming.
Yeah, the community showed up.
Yeah, they did.
I love that.
Yeah.
So you mentioned the lot next door. That was an old building, right?
It was an apartment building, a large. It took up most of that physical space, and there was a fire in there. And after the fire, the insurance company made it a total loss, and our city ended up purchasing the building, and then myself and another person made an offer to buy that entire space then.
Yeah.
So now it's a nice green space for our
It
community.
is.
Yeah.
And yeah, tell us how you use it, because you've got a mural and you do live music.
Yeah, last year we did some live music back there and have some plans to do that again this year. I have a big patio space out there. three different seating areas for you to, if you want to sit beside each other or across the table from each other, like on a picnic bench. Have some plans to add some shade there this next year. We have a mural back there on the wall that our neighboring business allowed us to paint. And then it was kind of nice because once the big apartment building was down, it kind of exposed like, holy, there's two huge buildings back there, and what a beautiful space to show a little more community involvement and spruce it up. And the two neighboring owners actually painted the side of their walls to help spruce up downtown, and we painted that mural, did a bunch of landscaping back there. So it's been a nice addition to the community.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Thank you.
So you've also been really involved with helping revive Sumner, and you have a couple of friends, which you call the library meeting.
Yep.
And you guys have done some really cool projects, and you've just put forth a lot of effort to help revive the town. Tell us about some of that.
Yeah, I'd say it all started with that What Could Be tour.
Yeah.
And we were very intentional on how we invited people along. We got the community involved because two of the buildings are double storefronts, and there were a lot of stuff on the second floor, and we knew if we wanted to take people through and actually give them a vision of what could be in those spaces, that it was going to take a lot of work and a lot more work than the three of us could do. And the building owners were actually fantastic, and I think we're very appreciative that they had some help. And we had set aside 3 different days for cleanup, and we had so many people show up, we were done in like 5 hours with both of the buildings. So that was kind of the jump start of it all. And then we kind of had a building sold, and we had a new business come in, and it kind of just started this trickle-down effect. And then we purchased the farm-to-table dinner from Rural Revival, and we got the opportunity to dip our toe with that and see if we could do some project and raise $10,000 was our goal. And we thought that was kind of a lofty goal. And we just said, we want to develop this green space, because on Main Street we had another space that 2 buildings had been torn down years before that, and it was just kind of grass and nothing happened in there. So we used those funds, and we now there's a stage and some limestone rock and some landscaping and things like that, and we've purchased some picnic tables with umbrellas for people to kind of use in the community. So that was kind of the next step, and some momentum kind of started happening, and some more buildings were selling, and some new businesses coming to town. And then we started the project of Main Street in Bloom, where we raised funds to have a cohesive look down our Main Street with flower pots and hanging flowers. And all through sponsors, we raised enough money to pay for all of those. And then with volunteers, we had volunteers that were taking turns watering the flowers, which last year was kind of a dry year and hot, and it was almost an everyday event. And then we decided to do another What Could Be tour last year to see if we could just keep the momentum going. And our goal was then to make a mural, pay for a mural. And so we kind of upped the ante on ourselves and got the mural done by Sumner Days, which was a big celebration in our community this last year. The mural was partially done, but it was well on its way, and had a lot of people talking about that. And then helped raise some money for our brand new Sumner Daycare Center that started last year in August, and that was a much needed amenity in our community. And so it just seems like all of a sudden the momentum is there. Different groups are getting involved with their own projects. And kind of instead of just 2 or 3 people or one group doing everything, it seems like it's evolved to, somebody decided that we needed a daycare, and there was a whole group of people that were passionate about that. And now there's another group that's trying to raise some funds to do a new sports complex for our youth, and that's probably a 3 to 5 year project and millions of dollars. So right now we had our library meeting this morning talking about we're going to do a farm to table and give those proceeds to the Tri-County Sports Complex and their efforts. So we'll just keep on keeping on and seeing where this momentum takes us.
Yeah, and now you've literally got people coming to you being like, hey, can we be the funds recipient for your next farm to table?
Yeah, so that's a whole new avenue for us, but it's exciting.
Yeah, I love it. Since I've known you, which I feel like, was that through Cultivate? Is that how we met?
It was through Cultivate, and I was given your name through Barnstormer Coffee, Lynn Thomas, because I had a question on my building, and she's like, oh, you need to call Dana. And then we had done like the 10-day Small Dreamer.
Yep.
Ashley, Holly, and I had signed up for that.
Yep.
And we had to introduce ourselves and talk about, and we had mentioned that we had just done this What Could Be tour, and that kind of sparked the Cultivate group, and I'd say our main conversations came through that, yeah.
So since that time, I mean, I have seen, so I came for your first farm to table dinner, and even since then, like, you guys have come a long way in reviving your downtown. What do you think has been the key to getting so much momentum here? Is there any one thing that you did that was a big win for you?
I think just creating the excitement and the camaraderie and the community aspect of everything that we were doing, and kind of the vision of why we're important and why we can be a thriving community. And just even starting with, I'll say, small wins, like the flowers, they didn't cost that much money. But the community pride in that was really evident after that. And when people saw the mural, and it's kind of the postcard mural of the name of Sumner, and each of the letters has, a landmark per se. And that kind of seemed to spark a lot. So I think it's just a lot of little things that create the momentum and have gotten people talking and got people believing that we are worth it and we have a future and we need to fight for that.
Absolutely. You even recruited some businesses to Sumner based on what you knew your community needed.
Yeah, I think that kind of happened organically because I personally didn't, and I don't know who did, but before our farm to table, we had someone from the Iowa Economic Developments strongly encouraged us to get a survey out there to our community, and it was very well received, and the surveys were actually completed, and we got a lot of good data from there. And some of the things that it said that our community needed were like a coffee shop, a bakery, and an ethnic restaurant, and so far we've gotten every one of those. Plus we've gotten some more businesses from not just those 3 things, but it's kind of like we're ticking off what the community said we wanted and needed, and so that's been really exciting.
Yes, so explain to our listeners, if they were to come visit Sumner, what would they find on your main street and around town?
I would think you would find a welcoming, quaint little town that has a lot to offer. We have our coffee shop. We have 2 really nice destination shops with Maker's Market and Grain and Thread, and they have both done a fantastic job of recruiting customers to our community by adding events that draw people from neighboring communities. Those 2 businesses also partner with another business that does not have a storefront, called Twisted Sisters, and it's out in the country, and they market together and they draw a lot of people into our community. So those two businesses have been really, really strong for our community. We've got another business called Wood and Rust for all of your wedding decoration needs. You can rent things from them. You know, we're fortunate. We have a pharmacy in town. We have a grocery store in town. We have an aquatic center. We have very active youth sporting events. We have a long time business of paint and carpet. You know, we have farm stores. We have a farm implement. There's just a lot that we do have to offer, and we have a lot of bike paths and parks and things to do while you're here, and a beautiful library and a lot of amenities that not all small towns have. So we're pretty fortunate.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful historic main street.
Yeah, thank you.
You got a lot of that small town charm going on.
Thank you.
How has the coffee shop helped further your efforts and dreams for Sumner?
I think it's given people the encouragement that it doesn't have to be a full-time gig. It doesn't have to be every day. If you have another job and you're passionate about this, it can be once a day. And if that's all you have to give to the community, I think that's great. We also have a bakery coming in. So I think it's given people that encouragement that whatever it looks like for you, you can try it. And you don't have to be the status quo of 8 to 5, Monday through Friday or anything like that. You can make it whatever you want, and I think our community will support it.
Yeah, I think that's a great quality about small towns is they don't mind the flexibility. Like, you make it work with your schedule, and they'll show up when they know you're open.
Right.
And that's something I think unique about our small towns that we can really appreciate.
Yeah. If we're consistent when we're open, people will come. But once we start that being overly flexible and people don't know when, then it's probably going to be a little bit harder for them. But, if you set your schedule and stick to it, they'll show up.
Yeah. What are some of the key lessons that you feel like you've learned, whether it's through opening this business or having side hustle or reviving the town, that would help out our listeners?
I think you need to be, number one, you need to be committed, and you need to be known in the community. You need to be active. You need to be involved and volunteer. People need to know why we're doing things like that. So communication is always key. Getting on board and showing your passion through volunteering is probably, I'd say, the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And where I work at the bank, volunteerism has always been a major effort of all of their employees. So it's just a culture that I've grown up with, and I think it is very important. And people seeing you doing things when you're not getting paid for it, I think that's very impactful.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. What excites you most about the future of rural America?
I'm all about traditions and holding on to the past, yet being excited about the future and trying to merge those two things. And you can hear the stories of, what it used to be, and we're excited about it, what it can be or what it could be. And I think just honoring both of those is a great place to start. But rural America, for me, it's like where you're going to raise your kids and where you want your grandkids to go to school, and, how we rally around everybody. If there's one family or one person that needs help, or a business that needs help cleaning out the second floor, there's all sorts of things you can do to get involved. And I think that's really the best thing about it is the close-knit aspect of friendships, strangers. We're here to help everybody, and all of that.
Yeah. Well, what's next for you? As if you don't have enough.
Oh gosh, I don't know. I hope to kind of keep expanding on the coffee shop and what we can do in our community, ways that we can draw more people to our downtown, and just becoming a better citizen of our community and being an advocate for Sumner.
Yeah. Well, how do we follow along with everything that you're involved with here in Sumner?
Well, on Instagram and Facebook for Fueled by Faith, you can just search Fueled by Faith Coffee, and photography is marcybergmanphotography.com, or on Instagram and Facebook, it's Marcy Bergman Photography. Accelerating Sumner is a great place to see all of the events that are happening in our community and all the things that are planned, and you can find that on Facebook at Accelerating Sumner, and that is EXCELARINT, Accelerating Sumner.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we will put links to all that in the show notes. And this is actually going to kick off a week-long town feature of Sumner. So be sure to be checking back on our socials and on our blog, where we will be featuring a lot of businesses around town, and you can learn more about what's going on here. So, Marcy, thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Thank you for the invite.
And thank you for setting such a great example, you and everyone else who have worked so hard to bring revival to Sumner. This really is a great town to look at as a model. So well done.
Thank you.
Well, I love everything Marcy is involved with and all of the great things going on in Sumner. And can I just say, I think we all need a library meeting group of friends in our towns. Wouldn't you agree? I know each of these ladies, and they are a power team. And good news, all week long, we will be featuring businesses in Sumner on our blog, so be sure to check out our socials and website each day for fresh inspiration. As we mentioned in the interview, the Farm Dinner and What Could Be Tour have been big wins for the group in Sumner in gaining momentum for their town. Rural Revival offers kits for both of these events to help you with every part of your planning, including guides, templates, and tips to set you up for success and get a big win in your community. Go to our website, ruralrevival.co, for more information and to get signed up. Huge thanks to Marcy for being on the podcast. Be sure to hit up the show notes and go give her a follow. And thanks to you for tuning in. Have a great day, everybody.